Hey everybody, it's all college football all the time, and today we are going to be going over a recap of last year and a preview of Oregon and how they're going to do this year. So, to start off the recap, I think that obviously it wasn't the way Oregon wanted it to happen. They did not play very good in the game against Indiana. It was like I have never seen a game go so wrong so fast with the first play interception for a touchdown. Um but I want to defend Lanning cuz right now on the internet Oregon has a lot of expectations this year, and they're saying Oregon's not going to win because of what happened last year. And I just want to set the record straight. Lanning has nothing to do with why they lost last year. I don't blame him. I don't even blame the team, really. The reason he lost is because, one, defensive coordinator and offensive coordinator both left at the same time. And they were trying to be a head coach and be a coordinator for the job, so they were distracted. Decorian Moore got injured earlier in the year, and he wasn't 100%. Sadiq got injured earlier in the year. I don't think he was 100%. Then you had injuries on the offensive line, and the running back room was so bad that you had a fifth string running back that was technically supposed to be in the portal playing the game, and the backup was not even a running back, it was a linebacker. And I think his last name's Platt. And then they had Noah Whittington, who was injured and sick and came in for like a couple carries and then went out for like the rest of the game. Didn't have Jordan Davidson. Didn't have De'Aaron Hill. Didn't really have Whittington. And then you had like two guys that were going into the portal. Because for some reason college football can't understand that you should wait for the portal until after college football is done. Because the timeline is so screwed up. So all that, and not having Evan Stewart, and then the star just like ruined the game. There was problems all game with like pass protection, like that fumble where the running back got hit by the ball when he was trying to throw it because he's not aware of where he should be on the play because he had like a few days to figure it out because he's not used to being in there. So, as far as I'm concerned, there was a lot of circumstances. We were injured a lot last year, and we still somehow made the semifinals. So before I go through this rundown, I just wanted to get that out of the way. You're fine if you disagree. You could think that Oregon's a bunch of choke artists, but they made the top 8, and then they made the top 4. That's pretty good in my book. Now, I say we get into the season preview because Oregon basically brought everybody back. It is a lot like the 2024 Ohio State season when all the juniors, after losing in the playoffs, basically all the really good ones, and then they added, I can't remember if it was Judkins or Henderson. I think Judkins was at Ole Miss, and then he came in. And then you had like great freshmen too. That was the Jeremiah Smith. He was a true freshman. So he came in and they won. They lost a couple games and they won because they were so freaking talented. That's how talented I think this team is. I think this team is the most talented team in college football. And I'm going to prove to you why in this video. So starting on the top, Dante Moore. I think he's a top 5 quarterback. He was basically last year. And having the best backup in all of college football. 72% completion percentage, 3,565 yards, 30 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and he had 7 fumbles and 2 touchdowns. But the thing is, he was on his first full year of experience. Now he goes into his second year. And this running back room is elite. Elite. Jordan Davidson, he's going to be the power back. He's the Thunder, and De'Aaron Hill Jr. is the Lightning. Jordan Davidson averaged 6 yards per carry as a power back and 15 touchdowns. De'Aaron Hill averaged 6 yards after contact. And he didn't used to be 5'11", 205. I think he was probably 170, 180 last year. He is so good. And he's more, if I was to compare them to any pair of running backs that I've seen as my 30 years of being an Oregon fan, I would compare Jordan Davidson to Kenjon Barner. And I would compare De'Aaron Hill to LaMichael James. That Thunder and Lightning back when we made the national championship in 2010 was fantastic. Simeon Price, I don't really think he's going to play, if I'm being honest. He's not going to... It says he's third. I don't think he is. I don't think Riggs will be either. They're older, and they haven't really done anything in the past couple years. I think one of these two is going to take the third spot for a couple of the carries. For reference, because they're true freshmen, Tredarion Ball was, in last year's class, the 4th running back in the class, if I remember correctly. Yeah, 4th of running back, 143 nationally. 19th and 283. So I do think if everything goes to plan, he'll be the 3rd. But I think these guys are going to get 90% of the carries. But I think this room right here is why we are going to be one of the most unstoppable offense. So I think Jeremiah McClellan is going to be that big body wide receiver, the traditional X receiver. I think DeCorian Moore is going to be that slot guy because of his quick release and what he can do in space. I think Evan Stewart will be that deep ball guy who can... his route running and everything is fantastic. He's going to go off. The number 1 and 2 option are Evan Stewart and DeCorian Moore. And then you have Jeremiah McClellan and Iverson Hooks, who probably plays a lot like Tez Johnson. Which my Oregon fans know, Tez is a special player. The most special player in space. He'll probably be the backup slot guy. And then Jalen Lott, I think he'll be good. I don't think he'll play that much this year. He can get open and he can make contested catches. He can run deep. He's great. And he was a 5-star last year. This guy, 2 years back, he had a 2-year religious mission trip. He was actually a 5-star in 24. It says 4-star because I think it depends on the site. So, like, that's 6 guys. Gatlin Bear, 6'1", almost 200 pounds. He ran a 4.2940 in high school his senior year. Maybe it's only a 4.3 or 4.31, but that is serious speed. Him and Evan Stewart, just brilliant. I think that's the best wide receiver group. And then we have Jamari Johnson. And that is best returning production tight end. He's probably the best returning tight end in the country. If not, he is top 5. So to have him to be able to block, and then you have Kendra Harrison, 5-star, really good. And then we have Andrew Olesh. He was a 4-star out of Penn State last year. So we should be good. We're not going to run a lot of 12 personnel this year with all our receivers. We're going to run a lot of 11 personnel, or just maybe 5 out sometimes, and just have the tight end be one of the 5 guys eligible, and have 4 wide receivers. I can see that. No running back, or running back in, but you do 3 wide receivers, tight end, running back. With how much we like to run the ball, I don't know how much 5 wide receiver, no tight end, or no running back we would do. But it's possible. Now, let's get to the part that everybody says, oh, it's a issue. David Iuli, he's probably going to be the left guard. That's the truth. Fox Crater, he's a really good player that really came in and played very, very well against USC last year for Isaiah World. He's going to be the left tackle. And then center, we obviously have Poncho, All-American, Lalolu. And then I think they're going to go, there's a couple different options. I think right guard, you have Tommy Tofi. He is going to be the starter. If anybody's watched the spring game, he has such good quickness and athleticism. Sorry about that. He has such good quickness and athleticism that he will actually need to he needs to start. True freshman, 6'6", 330 at right guard. As a true freshman, just great. And then I think for right tackle, it's going to be a battle between Zaire Addison, who is a redshirt freshman, and Emmanuel Ihenacho. 6'7", 345, and then Zaire Addison is 6'5", 315. I would say you go with Zaire Addison because he's a redshirt freshman. I mean, Nacho isn't going to be able to probably get on campus until June or July because he wasn't, unlike Tommy Tofi, he wasn't able to come in to be able to practice with the team since January. He wasn't an early enrollment. But I think that's going to be the starters. And then you'll have probably Janoris Wilson will be a backup right tackle. Or just like across the line, Michael Bennett, same kind of thing. I have heard this Brooks guy he's going to be the backup center. Probably the guy of the future. Bolton is a guy they've talked about, but I don't think so. And yeah, and Nacho, he's probably going to be backup right tackle. He's going to work his way into the starting lineup. And if that happens, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they put Zaire Addison as someone who is like maybe taking over Luli's spot, or maybe he forces Fox Crater inside a little bit. Because Zaire Addison, I think if he progresses like he should, he needs to be starting too. But we got some really good tackle prospects on this roster, so I think we'll be Joe Moore Award finalists again. Now this is the like gem of the team. Now we get into our defense. Our offense is goated. It's gonna be top 3 definitely, but maybe the best team in the country. But the defense, we could have the number 1 defensive line and number 1 secondary, not linebackers. We have decent linebackers, but we're not like great. So Maury Washington and Bear Alexander are some freaks in nature that are really good. Bear can shut down a game when he's on all by himself. Maury Washington is the same way. He's a freak in a different type of way. He is someone that that Oregon fans have talked about for a while. Maury Washington, he is great. They lock down the middle very well. DeAndre Robbins, but DeAndre Robinson, he's a good backup. He's a starter at North Carolina. Not really worried about Jerome Simmons. I don't think he's going to factor in that much. But Aiden Breland was a 4-star out of Cali. We actually got him out of USC's area. A lot of these guys are from USC's backyard. Aiden Breland, if you saw him in that spring game, he looked good. You only want to take so much from spring games, but he has a high pedigree and he looks like he's starting to put it all together. Cumberland looks good too, but I think he redshirts. Matthew Johnson, he looks different this year. He put on 25 pounds. He was 6'5", 270. Now he's 6'5", 295. He could be another guy that just takes the next step. And defensive end, because they don't put those are just defensive tackles. So Tuioti and Ualungale, those are obviously the starters. They're NFL guys. Just like Washington and Bear Alexander. They would all be top 100 players, the 4 starters. But Elijah Rushing, he showed me something in the spring game that he's probably ready to take the next step going into year 3. Then you have Nasir Wyatt. He has put on some pounds. They're saying he's closer to 240, and he's a lot closer to and he's got so much speed off the edge. His spin move is fantastic. He had like 40 snaps last year and he had like 3 sacks, and like almost 30% of the time he was pressuring the quarterback. Just limited sample size, but fantastic. Anthony Jones, 5-star. I mean, he's a great outside linebacking prospect, but I don't think he sees the field this year. Tank Jones, he could, but we're only going to have him for a few years. So maybe we want to use it up. Okay. This is the gem of the team. Brandon Finney Jr., I think he's the best cornerback in college football. You can say Leonard Moore. Ife Ogodegwu and Naeem Offord. Ife, I think, is the best number 2 cornerback in the country. And then Naeem Offord at the 3. Maybe one of those two. They were just switching out last year, but maybe one of them is the nickel. I mean, I think the star position for our defense, I think it's going to be. I think if Aaron Flowers could do it, I think Trey McNutt could do it. I don't think it's going to be Carl Williams like some people are projecting. Maybe it's. I don't think it's Jet Washington. I think he'll be just purely safety. I mean, I think Offord could do it. I think he has the athleticism for it. Just so many options, but when you have 3 legitimate guys in Offord, Obadegwu, and Finney, where you can go man and just shut teams down with how physical they are. I mean, production 98, 98, 99. Aaron Scott was brought in, I think he was brought in to play the nickel. He played good at Ohio State in limited time. We'll see. So these are looking like the top 3. If I look at if I look at the safeties, Aaron Flowers was the top safety aside from Thieneman last year, and I think that's gonna change. McNutt was supposed to be the starter last year before I think it was like broke his leg the week before the season. I think he's one of the starting safeties, and obviously Coy Parrish is gonna be the other one. I think Jet Washington will be mixed in there. He's just a freak at 6'5", 205 at safety. I mean, Davon Benjamin also. Like, we have so many good safeties. Special teams there's a lot to be desired, but I mean, I think this team is great. So let's go over the. No. Okay. I'm just going to be honest, week 1, I think we win by going away, and it's probably a 21-point game in the fourth quarter. We're getting the backups in, that kind of thing, at least. I think Oklahoma State will be improved. It's not going to be 66-3 this time, but we could win by 20-30. Especially if they can't get that passing game going. I would say we win that game 2-0. Portland State, that's a bye week. 3-0. And this is going to be my most controversial prediction. Oregon and USC. I think USC is a front. I think they're not as good as everybody thinks they are. I think that they win. I think Oregon wins by 2 touchdowns. Maybe 2 touchdowns a little rich. 10-14 points. I think it's going to be a lot like last year. It might even be worse because they don't have those 2 wide receivers. I think we go 4-0. Then we go and play Nebraska. And I just think Nebraska is, I think they're like a 7-win team, maybe as low as a 6. I think we're gonna we're gonna beat them and go to 5-0. Illinois is gonna have a rough year this year. They're rebuilding. I say we're gonna beat them 6-0. Northwestern. I mean, Chip Kelly and on the offense and Aiden Childs. I think they'll be improved. Maybe we only win by 4 touchdowns this time instead of like 5. And Oregon and Ohio State is interesting. We'll both be 8-0 going into this game. And I don't know who to pick. I want to say Ohio State because of them being at home. But Oregon was so pissed off, and most of this team was on that team that lost to Ohio State, so there's that revenge factor. I think this is the one team we could lose to on our schedule. The one team. Most likely. So I would say I'll say they're gonna lose. So they'll lose there, probably on a last second field goal or touchdown or something. Michigan and Oregon at Autzen. Michigan will not have enough improved offense. They'll still be running the football and defense, and that's not enough to beat Oregon. Oregon, Michigan State. Michigan State is a dumpster fire. They're going to be one of the worst teams in the Big Ten, so I would say that's a win. 10-1 to face the Huskies at Autzen, and we'll take care of little brother like we have for the past couple of years to be 11-1. Now the question is, will they win the championship? If they're as good as they are on paper, they will win the championship. They arguably have the best defensive line and best secondary, and they have the best offense. So I think that they will, I think they're going to win. I think they're going to finally do it because I think that this team is the most talented team in all of college football. I think the biggest weakness you could say is the linebackers. But when you have like 3 or 4 shutdown corners with going 8 to 10 deep in the defensive lineman room that all can rush the passer, I think you have the team that they can win in January because they can get after the quarterback. So that would be my prediction. I think they win the title. Let me know. What do you think? Do you think Oregon is going to do it? Please have a better take than, Oregon chokes, so they're not going to do it. That's just the laziest take ever. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.